People that do EDC, survival and prep, are similar to like a toddler. They're cute at times, every now and again, super useful, do things that you need them to do, like take their own plate from the table to the sink. But when they get to the sink, they just dump everything in, to include remaining food on the plate, like hot dog buns and hot dogs themselves and chips. They don't know how to separate that stuff to the trash, to the sink. They just put everything in one basket. That's everyday carry. But that doesn't mean if 5 of you peasants come to me and ask for help, I'm not gonna help you. And don't you worry, I am the peasant in chief. All right, man, so we got 5 questions today from some folks. I figured we could just knock it out while I make a little bit of the morning coffee. Today, we're gonna have an Americano. So we're gonna start off with some good old coffee and read some of y'all's questions, man. So we're gonna do a little bit of Black Rock Old Town. This is from a coffee shop that's near me. So it's not, well, you can't really see those. And there you go. There you go. So I'm gonna bust this down real quick. The first one here, I don't get it. If you wear something around your wrist, why not try to get the most out of it? What's wrong with a solid smart watch? Says Steven 6316. All right, so I have a smart watch here. It's, you know, it's a TicWatch Pro 2020 compared to my wonderful Mercedes watch that I'm wearing, which is an automatic monster. This is why I poo-poo smartwatches. There's nothing wrong with them. I just showed you that I own one. They have their functionality. What my issue is that they don't allow for you to untether yourself from the world. You know, there is a healthy amount of times when you need to disconnect. And if you're always connected, you don't have the opportunity to really find yourself. And that's what a smartwatch does. I mean, yeah, you can put it in do not disturb, but you're still gonna have the temptation on your wrist. There are times when you should take a social media hiatus, or you should just take some time to maybe go to the grocery store without a cell phone and shop for items, having no way for anyone to get in touch with you. You know, if you're only gone for 20 or 30 minutes, there should be a way for you to just disconnect. That's the first point that I make. The second point that I will make is, you should also have the ability to have a snap of elegance on your wrist, a way to be unique, a way to have your own type of features. The only way you can be really unique with the smartwatch is to change the bands and to download a digital face. I think that when it comes to a analog watch or digital watch, but specifically an analog watch, there's just a touch of class that comes along with it. It is a low likelihood that where you go somewhere, someone's going to be wearing the exact same watch as you. Yeah, there are some popular analog watches and popular digital watches, your G-Shocks of the world. When you show up, somebody could be wearing the same thing. I understand that. But the point is that it does make you feel good. At least, let me let the coffee finish. It does make me feel good when I have the ability to, you know, dress up. Even today, I'm just simply dressed for work, but I still feel good knowing that I have like the total package together. You know, I have a very nice watch on. It just makes me feel more productive. It makes me feel more elegant. It makes me just feel like, I don't know, it makes me feel good about myself, which it doesn't really matter how others feel about you. It really matters how you feel about yourself. I think the 2 biggest things with that are being able to disconnect and being able to have something that's timeless on your wrist. The third point, for when it comes to an analog or digital watch versus a smartwatch, I can pass down these field watches and these dive watches to my kids. If you pass down your Apple Watch Series 9 to your kids, I think you're kind of crazy, unless you're literally passing it down to them in 2024. Okay, I'm talking like 20 years from now, one of my sons is a knucklehead, gets some broad pregnant. I now have grandkids, but I want to pass down to my son, as maybe a gift for having a kid, a watch. I could do that with one of these. You can't do that with a smartwatch unless you're just a weirdo who changes the battery and keeps it running at all times. Then maybe, I guess. But I don't concern myself with that. So that's why I poo-poo smartwatches, even though I own one. Don't get it twisted, I still wear them, okay? If I'm going on a very long ride on my bike, I'm talking more than 10 miles on my bike, I will put on a smartwatch, because whenever I stop at stoplights or I stop at the stop signs or crosswalks or whatever, I would look at my watch, my wrist very quickly, see if I missed any important notifications from my family, because I'm gonna be gone for, you know, upwards of an hour, hour and a half, or on a bike where my cell phone's not readily available. So, all right, next one here. How does this compare to the Data Crew Sling? This is my review of the Nutsack Morale Sling 1 year later, better than expected. How does this compare to the Data Crew Sling? Let me go get a Data Crew. All right, so you're wondering, how does this sling, the Nutsack Morale Sling, compare to the Data Crew? Now, this is the X-Pack V2 of the Snack Time Sling. How do they compare? Well, I don't think they really compare to one another. This, to me, is more of a fanny pack. You can wear it as a sling, but I mean, look how much, look how thick the Data Crew is compared to the Morale Sling. Morale Sling's much more comfortable to wear on your back or on your chest versus the Data Crew. The Data Crew really is a fanny pack, in my opinion. It has great functionality, but I don't think they compare. If you're trying to figure out between these two, I could do a comparison of when you will buy a waist pack versus when you will buy a regular sling bag, but I don't even know if this makes sense. I mean, you can even think of it like this has even more functionality than both of them because it's smaller, and it's always a hard choice when it comes to sling bags, but to say which one compares to one another, I don't think these three directly compare with one another, as in like, you know, I should get this one versus I should get that one. And I think that that is something that is difficult when it comes to everyday carriers. You're trying to figure out like, okay, well, I see all these videos, especially from creators I like. And the same issue I have whenever I'm trying to figure out camera equipment. It's like, I see these videos from creators I like. Which one should I get? How do they compare? Is it really the same thing? And et cetera, et cetera. And I don't want you to get too caught up because you see me pumping out videos about things that are in the similar category, right? Sling bags are in the similar category, but that doesn't mean that they're all necessarily the same. To be fair, the creator of the Data Crew Snack Time Sling, he chose to call it a sling because of how one could wear it. However, in its most comfortable state, it is probably best suited as a, you know, as a waist pack. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, next one here is from Rogue Scholar 6370. He says, it looks nice, but is it a bag for concealed carrying a M1911? Sir, this is my review of the Waterfeld hip sling. I think I have one here. All right, so this is the Waterfeld hip sling. And he's wondering, can the Waterfeld hip sling fit a 1911? No, it can't. I don't even know if your question was real, if you were just trolling. The Waterfeld hip sling is not a concealed carry bag. Matter of fact, all the slings I just really showed you aren't really concealed carry bags. You could get away with concealed carrying something inside of one of these bags, but that's not really what it's designed for. So I have a 1911. I'm not going to show it to you in this video. 1911s are big. First off, I don't know why you would want to conceal carry a 1911 unless you just don't care about your weapon. What do I mean by that? So when I CCW a weapon, my thought about that is, if I have to use this weapon for any specific reason, then I know, at least for a short amount of time, that the good old boys in blue are going to have my boomstick while they're investigating why did I decide to use it. Even if it's a justified shoot. while they're investigating that, there is a likelihood that they're going to have my boomstick for a while. So why would I want to give one of my most favorite boomsticks, which is my Colt Airweight 1911, use that in a CCW situation? What if it's gone for a year and a half? What if they have some crazy policy and I can't get it back and I have to adjudicate it in court? Like, I don't want to have to go through that headache because I wanted to CCW one of my favorite weapons. That's why I do, as much as I'm not a Glock boy, that is why I'm 100% behind the Glock movement, because those are a dime a dozen. And for me personally, you know, if a Glock is your favorite weapon for heirloom sakes or because of whatever reason, then that's fair. But for me, a Glock, a Taurus, those type of things, and I have a Taurus 40 that, other than the fact that it's a 40 and it's big AF and top heavy, I would CCW that. But for me, a J-frame, Smith & Wesson, Saturday Night Special, hammerless, no safety, always double action, perfect CCW for me. If I have to use that bad boy and the police confiscate it, the boys in blue confiscate it for a relatively whatever amount of time while they do their investigations, I'm not going to be butthurt over that. So I think that sometimes you got to think about how exactly the stuff is going to get used, and can this thing do that? Can it conceal carry anything? I don't even know if this thing can conceal carry my J-frame Smith & Wesson. Next question. This one is from Hey It's Coat. Hey, what up, Ian? He says, but where were you at Blade Atlanta? Had my head on a swivel for you all weekend long. Sir, I know you missed me. I know I was missed. Listen, I didn't make it to Blade Atlanta. I really wanted to go. I see all the other creators. I'm in a Discord with a lot of everyday carry community creators. Max Level EDC, the Best M EDC, Melissa Backwoods, or Melissa Outside. I always get her channel name wrong. I apologize. Let me do my two-part apology for that. But so I see everybody in there buzzing, everybody went, but my side hustle is YouTube. I have a main job that I do every day, but my side hustle is YouTube. And I enjoy doing YouTube, but I don't have a ton of equipment. I have 2 cameras, and I primarily use 3 lenses for YouTube. And one of my cameras can't use the lenses from the other. I know this is super technical. I'm filming on the FX30, Sony FX30. The lenses on my Sony FX30 cannot be used on my main camera, which is a Sony FX3. What does all that gibberish mean? It means is the main lens I use on my main camera broke. And to get that bad boy fixed, it was over $800. That was about the cost of my Atlanta trip. I'm not giving you excuses, I'm giving you facts. The facts is that sometimes you gotta make decisions. And as much as I had FOMO when it came to Atlanta, I had to get my YouTube lens fixed because, I mean, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. YouTube pays for my kids' daycare. My kids' daycare expenses are over $2,000 a month. What I get from YouTube pays for that. I enjoy doing YouTube, but it's also a blessing that it allows for my kids to go to a Montessori school. And only 2 of them, 2 out of 5, cost me over 2 racks. So imagine if I had to pay for the rest. And so I can't afford for the rest. I can afford for 2 of them, and they're in their developmental years. And because I want to continue for them to go to daycare with their developmental years, whereas Blade Atlanta would have generated new, meet new people and meet new companies and possibly new opportunities. I know that without being able to film myself, which is what I do here, would have been an issue. So I didn't go. All right. And the last question here is from MC Robbie Lord. It says, where did you get that weed grinder at? Really? Really? So this video is on a company attacked my viewer because of a negative video. Did they go too far? He was wondering about this thing here. Okay, let me dust the coffee off of it. This is called a coffee distribution tool. Okay, and all this does is once I'm almost ready to make the espresso, you don't have to use this tool if you're an espresso head. It just helps distribute the coffee inside of this thing here, which is called a puck. And it kind of distributes that as evenly as possible So before I go ahead and get ready to actually put this in my espresso machine, the coffee's kind of spread out evenly so the water can go through evenly. It's not a freaking weed grinder. But to that point, this coffee mess has moved. It used to be at a table near the beginning of my man cave. I've moved it onto one of my Husky workbenches. It's chaotic right now, but I don't want to fake the funk with you guys and pretend like everything's always pristine here in the man cave. But this area is specifically for my coffee mess and for my record players. A lot of times I come out here in the mornings before I get started. Like right now it is 6:58 in the morning, but I will play a record. So normally right now I have the Wiz loaded up as a record, and I would just kind of sit here and vibe out and listen to some music, drink some coffee, and just chill. If you do all that with your weed, then do what you got to do, sir. I've actually never smoked weed in my life, which is weird, right? My entire life. So, you know, it is what it is. But I have helped you guys out greatly today. You should thank me with a super thanks down below. You don't have to do that though. You can just like the video, subscribe to the channel, ask your questions down below. When will I do another Fix Your EDC video? Whenever the hell I feel like it. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel, join the battalion. I would love to have you. If this is not your first time stopping by, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon. Damn good cup of coffee.